Hey YouTube, this is Rebirth Terror. We're going to go over some of the quality of life initiatives that BHVR put in for Dead by Daylight for their plan for 2025, basically. They have postponed the PTB by a few weeks so that they can take course and action on all these changes that are coming up. Down below, I'll leave the link to their posts on their website, and I'll also leave the link to their Twitter video where they quickly spoke about all of this. Let's take a look, shall we? All right. So, Dead by Daylight Quality of Life Initiative 2025 Phase 1. The Dead by Daylight team announces several roadmap updates and previews in the lineup of gameplay changes, quality of life updates, and general game health improvements to come. Dead by Daylight will be undergoing a substantial quality of life initiative, which should address many long-standing concerns and frustrations our players have been experiencing for quite a long time. I mean, if you've been playing DBD as long as I have since 2019, you know the game's never been perfect. There's always been bugs. We always make fun of them. Lately, the game has been in the worst state it's ever been, not only in terms of bugs, but just the servers themselves, and hopefully they do have some fixes for the server. But anyway, the initiative will take place over the course of 2 phases. The first runs from April to June, while the second runs from July to December. For a full look at what schedule, we're going to check down below. So yes, basically, they have 2 phases. One is set for gameplay, and one set for quality of life for each phase. Let's quickly go over it. Let's zoom in a little bit. So phase 1, April to June, you got anti-slugging and the surrender option, gamma settings, go next prevention, hiding and body blocking prevention, spawn rules, and map offering balancing, improved AFK bots, and quality of life would be bulk blood point spending, which I've been talking about forever. New quest system, more perks, more perk presets, which I've been wanting at least 5 to 10 because we have so many perks and there's so many combinations. But when you only have 3, it's so annoying to change it every time. Preview your perks in lobby. For Phase 2, July to December, they have anti-slugging, continued improvements, anti-tunneling, anti-camping, MMR update, oh god, map and key item balancing, quality of life changes, keyboard and mouse on consoles, which is actually really nice, custom game improvements. I'm actually intrigued to see what they have for that because, and besides some bugs that are in custom games, I'm hoping for. I personally want the ability to play older maps like original RPD, original Crows, which I don't like Crows, but I still like to mess around on original Crows, you know. Anyway, accessibility improvements, prestige rewards, reduced login steps. Yeah. To accommodate for the scope of this initiative, we have decided to delay several of our upcoming releases, including chapters, rifts, event modifiers, and collections. So like I said, they are delaying a whole bunch of, content so that they can get their game and work in order. This means that there will be not a BTB tomorrow, okay, a couple days ago. But rest assured, we did not make this decision lightly. We feel confident that delaying our upcoming release, prioritize this quality of life initiative, will ultimately make Dead by Daylight stronger than ever. Which I agree. If they fix all the issues, that the majority of the main issues that we're having, the game should be in a lot healthier state and more fun to play. We're always listening to our players, and this has been a long time coming. Always listen to our players is... I don't know if that's 100% accurate, because there's so many times we've been asking for them to be more open to talk to us. For example, like a lot of the community wants Twitch shirts. Last year, around April or May, they're like, we'll let you know soon. At this rate, it's going to be a year and we don't know anything. Looking for a more comprehensive breakdown of everything lined up in Phase 1, we've got you covered. So, surrender state. The team has been working on a surrender feature, which should limit player frustration on both sides. To get it right, we first needed to identify the situations where its use would be most appropriate, leading us to 2 scenarios. All remaining survivors have been slugged. Now, like I was saying before, I think having the ability to choose a surrender option at 3 slug, and the 4th survivor has to say yes would make more sense to me, versus everyone being slugged, because a lot of times, let's say I play with 3 people and we have a full squad, let's say 3 are on the floor, and I'll still try my best to go pick them up, or one of them will try their best to pick us all up so that we can continue the game. There's been a time where I did have 3 people slugged on the floor, 3 of my teammates. We managed to get each other up, and I forget what happened, but it was either a 2 out, a 3 out, even a 4 out. I don't fully remember, but I remember a couple of us surviving. So there's always a possibility. If you want to quit, of course, the option should be there. All remaining survivors are bots. Killer. Of course, if you're playing killer, chances are you're probably just going to go ahead and just, you know, kill them all because it's going to be quick and easy, and you'll get more blood points than just saying game over. But, I mean, for a lot of times, of course, going against bots isn't as fun as playing against players because bots are pretty consistent and pretty bad lately. So, gamma adjustments. Dead by Daylight can get a little dark, not just thematically, and sometimes excessive darkness can hinder playability. We're introducing the ability to adjust gamma settings on all platforms, allowing you to find a sweet spot without sacrificing intended artistic direction. This is good not only for PC, because some people's monitors may not be as bright. Changing the brightness setting on the monitor doesn't always help the game, since the game in some areas could be incredibly dark and hard to see. Console, same thing. Not everyone's TV may have like special features to boost the gamma levels to a point where it makes it acceptable without looking like completely washed out. So having it in game is great, especially for console players. PC, we have reshade, we have NVIDIA filters, and that can help with the game and the look of gamma being too low. But console doesn't have that, so having that for console players is definitely a plus. All right, the go next prevention. The go next expression refers to instances where a survivor deliberately does everything in their power to quickly go to their next game. Now, if you're like me and you're playing Survivor, and the first survivor gets hooked after the first chase, and for whatever reason they say, "I just want to quit," it's really freaking annoying. At least for me, it is. I don't like it. Like, if you're the first one chased and you're the first one to go down, you didn't like how you did the loop and you thought you did a terrible job. In my opinion, don't quit. See what you did wrong, do better, and take that to your next, chance to loop the killer. You just, trying to die on first hook, leaving us at 3 survivors with 5 gens left. In my opinion, it's not that fun. I understand if there's a killer that you don't like Clown, Plague, Spirit, for accessibility issues and reasons, that I don't understand. But otherwise, if I've seen a lot of players just go next because, I got caught first. That just... It blows my mind. I'm not a big fan of that personally. To disincentivize and properly penalize this behavior, we will be implementing measures that will help us identify when a player is attempting to go next. Once identified, they'll receive a disconnection penalty and lose an entire grade. Now that's crazy. The entire grade is huge. Now, of course, I think behavior should implement a way where you can mark off which killers bother you in settings. Like, for example, a lot of people don't like Clown. A lot of people don't like Plague because the puking. A lot of people don't like Spirit if they're hard of hearing because there's no way to really hear which direction she's coming from. So there should be a settings option where you can do that, but you can only select obviously let's say up to 3 killers because some players may just select them all and be like, haha, now I got around this go next prevention penalty. So that's an idea in my opinion. That would possibly work. You could always comment down below. We'll be keeping a close eye on the system to ensure its accuracy, but we're confident that this will help alleviate the issue. We shall see. There's a lot of things they've tried in the past that didn't work or technically made things worse because anti-camp bar, for example, I don't believe it's helpful. I think before, without the anti-camp bar, it was better because guess what? If the killer's camping you and a bar gets full, and unless there's people around to take hits for you, you're going to jump off that hook. The killer's still going to chase you. If it's a Billy, if it's a Bubba, they got plenty of opportunities to get you down. And if you don't have, an extended BT timer, borrowed time timer like we used to long ago, then, killer waits 10 seconds, like, easy M1, and get you right back on the hook. Unless you have decisive. Even then, killer just has to chase you another few moments unless you manage to loop him for a bit, get you down, another hook right there. So that's one idea they implemented that I don't think is very helpful. I think it's just there, but it's cool, if there's killers in the area chasing some survivors and your bar's filling up. That's helpful, but how often does that truly happen? On the other hand, we'd like to reward players who stick it through those challenging matches, even when things take a dire turn. We'll be moving forward with a new emblem-based multiplier that grants additional blood points during your following match, with the bonus stacking over consecutive trials. For us players that play for hours straight, that's going to be nice. Extra BP is always nice. Even though it's not mentioned over here for earning more BP, I mentioned, The minimum amount of blood points we should make per match, I think, should be around 40k, 30k, let's say 30, 40k. Let's say you have a killer that just slugs you, tunnels you, kills you instantly, and you make 5,000 blood points. Not only is that a waste of time, you can't even get two, three, items off of the blood web. Getting 30,000, 40,000 points at least makes it bearable, even though the match sucked, to get something out of it. And if you have an amazing match, I think you should probably end up averaging around 100,000 to 150k blood points before any, blood hunt, before any 400% incentive, before any cobblers or BPS that we still never find on the damn web. That is, in my opinion, another thing they should add, but it's not listed. Extreme hiding and body blocking prevention. Extreme hiding refers to survivors drawing out an unwinnable match by ignoring their objectives and waiting out the clock. I hate this. It drives me insane when you see a survivor that is just hiding the whole match. You're cranking gens with your friends, and you have one random, and that random is just chilling. Doesn't take any chases, doesn't take any hits, stays hidden the entire match, touches a gen the second that heartbeat comes up, disappears and bolts to the corner of the map, and then you die, your friends die, there's one person left, and you see that you go to spectate, they're in a locker. They're just hiding, crouched in the corner, waiting. Oh, you're all dead. Oh, let's go find Hatch. Just for them to escape, and it's a terrible feeling. So I really hope whatever they do to combat this, which is, they're changing the way AFK crows operate, so they can more accurately identify when a player is deliberately avoiding engagement with their gameplay objective. Once a player receives crows, their location will be immediately revealed to the killer. So that is helpful. We'll also be incorporating a feature that allows players to lose collision after receiving a third AFK crow, which should prevent instances of body block related griefing. In my opinion, I think the third crow is just waiting too long. If someone's really gonna grief you and they're body blocking you, the 1 or 2 crows should be enough. I don't think you should have the third crow, because what if this person does something to get the crows away and they're still body blocking you, and then can't ever make it because the third crow we're waiting forever. So I think if there's 2 people in front of you, they're body blocking you, 1 crow should be enough for you to just get through them. Map offerings. We recognize that map offerings are a bit decisive. Some players enjoy them, while others feel they can grant an unfair advantage. Personally, I don't use maps for an advantage. I just use maps that I find fun. Crows is not one of them. I know a lot of survivors use crows against killers, and as a killer main that plays more survivor, I don't like crows on either side. The original crows map was better, and the new crow map not so good. But I just bring them for fun. And even though one of my favorite maps is technically a killer's nightmare for most M1 killers, Gideon, it's a fun map. I like indoor maps. I know a lot of people are very decisive on those. Indoor maps are some of my favorites. The fact that they automatically bypass both the map and realm repetition system can also add to that frustration. Moving forward, map offerings will no longer guarantee the appearance of a given map, but rather increase its chances by 20%. Note that they will not stack. We're also looking to make it so map offerings, as well as several other types of offerings, will remain a secret during loading. That way, your decision to remain in the match will not be swayed by external factors. A lot of times, you'll see a player bring crows, and sometimes the killer just says, nope, getting out of here, or Gideon, getting out of here. Good thing they won't stack, because that'll just leave the percentage set to 20. So if you and 3 friends bring crows, because you despise killers, then they won't stack. You'll each have, I guess, a 20% chance, and there's no guarantee. Now, the one thing I would say is that I love indoor maps. I'm a big fan of bringing offerings every now and then, because sometimes going to multiple versions of Macmillan, or going to different versions of Springwood can be quite boring. Springwood is one of my least favorite maps. So being able to still bring offerings is a good thing, and it not being guaranteed is also nice. There's just a chance, and the fact that it's hidden is also good. It helps even the survivors. Some survivors don't like certain maps, so it being hidden, it's probably going to be a map offering, but until the match is over, you won't know what they brought, which is a W. Spawn rules. Survivor spawn placements can have a significant impact on the trial's outcome. An observation that has been repeatedly recognized by our community, it's become clear that survivors spawning separately and thereby covering more ground allows them to gain a notable advantage completing their objective. We're changing the default survivor spawns to ensure that survivors will spawn within 12 meters of each other on the same floor if applicable. To accommodate for this change, shroud offerings will be adjusted accordingly. Now, spawns lately, spawns have been all over the place. One match you'll spawn with 2 people, and the fourth one will be all the way across the map. Sometimes you'll spawn in a good old square and you'll be staring at each other. So the spawn rules are very inconsistent, and having it actually be consistent is nice. Hopefully, the killer is also pretty random and located far away. Improved AFK bot detection. Players that use AFK bots can be frustrating to have in your trial, and we're working on improvements to our detection system so that we can quickly identify and penalize them accordingly. I didn't even realize this was a thing, to be honest. I've had some people go AFK and come back, but now that I think of it, there was one player that was AFK, had crows, not AFK, then AFK, then AFK. Like, they kept going back and forth. I think I've only seen it once in the past few months. I know my experience may not be the same as everybody else's. So the fact that they're even looking into something like that I've only ran into once is good. Bulk blood point spending. To speed up general blood web activity, we're adding a button that allows you to spend blood points in bulk. I've been talking about this since before they added the button, which lets you do each web one by one. I've been talking about this forever. Because every time you have 2 billion blood points from, let's say you get rank 1 on both Killer Survivor, you get 2 million blood points plus whatever blood points you've had before. You're spending ages. Just clicking. And if you're like me, and you have specific items you want to get, Survivor, I like my flashlights, I like my batteries, I like my bulbs, my filament. On Killer, I like getting all the iridescent stuff just to collect them. I like getting the Moris. On Nurse, I like getting I don't even use them. I don't remember what the hell they're called. But, I like getting certain items on certain killers. And survivors, of course. So, besides the bulk blood point spending, there should be, in my opinion, an option to pre-select, like for Survivor blood webs, I wanted to prioritize BPS, flashlights, batteries, etc., etc. I hope they had those options. If not, they'll definitely be in the next survey for sure. Quest system. Previously announced last year, the quest system is part of a larger update to the archives and rifts, so expect more information in an article specifically dedicated to that. For now, know that we will be reworking the challenge system as well as daily rituals to reduce the grind, make it easier to earn rewards, and increase the overall level of fun. So this doesn't really state what they're going to do. I hope specifically that you can maybe choose multiple challenges for Survivor and Killer at the same time so that you can get your backlog out, because for me, I'm working from Tome 9 all the way back, because those are the last ones I have left. Everything after Tome 9 I've completed. So it will be interesting to see what they do there. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the daily rituals, because honestly, I haven't looked at daily rituals in months. Except sometimes they'll pop up that I completed one. I'll be like, oh snap, I forgot those exist. So we should, hopefully we got some good quests coming, and they're fun. Perk loadout and preview. After a successful round of A/B testing, we'll be allowing players to see their own perk loadouts while in the lobby, as well as adding additional perk loadout slots. The perk loadouts while in the lobby, I've seen a lot of people have that. I've seen a lot of, I guess, bigger streamers have that. And I was always wondering, where's the setting? I can't find it. Now, I don't really care for that, but I'm sure a lot of people will like to have that just displayed. It'd be interesting if they mean, if you're in the lobby, let's say, of 3 other random survivors, you could see each other's loadout. That would be cool, so you know what everyone else is bringing. Maybe you might switch your loadout around so you can have some synergy with the team. But the additional perk loadout slots, I've been also asking for forever, because, like I said, 3 slots is nothing. We have so many perks, there's so many options. If you want to play a killer one way, if you want to do a slug build, if you want to do a freaking drop your item Franklin's weave, and I don't do those builds, but we know players like those builds. But if you want to do a aura build with Huntress, and you want to do your normal build, For example, let me throw out Lethal, Barbecue, Pain Res, and Grim, which is a common occurrence. I'm one of the players that may use that on one of my killers. For Survivor, you may want to do a head-on build, a buckle up build, a power struggle build. Did I say head-on? I don't even remember. You want to do a whole bunch of builds to mess around and have fun. So having more loadout slots is good. I hope they increase it to 10 slots. But hell, even five will be better than 3. Now, Behavior believes these changes will be an overall benefit to Dead by Daylight's health, further establishing a positive gaming environment for all our players. We'd also like to thank you for your patience and understanding during this time. We'll be back at our anniversary broadcast in May to recap Part 1 and provide deeper insight into Part 2 of our roadmap, so keep an eye out for that announcement. In the meantime, we're looking forward to hearing your thoughts and feedback. Thanks for spending time in the fog, the Dead by Daylight team. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff for Phase 1. I just want to quickly go over Phase 2 real quick. Anti-slugging continued improvements. We don't know the full extent, I mean. Like, we know over here all survivors have been slugged and all remaining survivors are bots. That's a surrender state, but we'll have to see how the anti-slugging goes. So continue improvements to that. Anti-tunneling. I don't know how you're going to fix that. You know, in my opinion, a lot of players do it because if they see like gens are getting cranked quickly, the easiest way to win is to tunnel somebody. You get a person out at, 5 gens or 4 gens, 3 people getting those remaining gens done is going to be very difficult. Anti-camping. I don't know where they're going to go with this. We shall see. Maybe, what if, just like how cages work in 2v8, survivors are taken to a different hook, but this time the killer doesn't know which hook that is because the hook is no longer visible to them. That's an idea. MMR update. Turn it off. MMR is not fun. Before MMR, back in like 2019 when I started, 2020, it was way more fun. You would have, let's say you would have a good match against a newish killer or a newer killer. You had fun. You had another match that was, pretty even. You had fun. Then you had one match where you had a tough killer. Okay, I'll do better next time. And then you have a fun match, a tough match. Not having MMR on provided you with like a rotation of like, okay, this match was tough. This match was fun. This one was pretty fun. This match was tough. The next couple matches were fun. It gave you that rotation. But nowadays, a lot of my matches are like, this person's slugging. This person's slugging. This person's tunneling. This person's camping. This person's slugging and tunneling and camping and doing all the fun stuff. Multiple matches in a row, and it's just so boring. That's just so boring to me. Map and key item balancing. I don't know what they're intending for that. Hopefully, they reorganize a lot of the maps and redo them, because you could technically not have Bloodlust if the maps were made correctly. But I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Quality of life. Keyboard and mouse on consoles, like I mentioned before, that's a pretty cool thing to have. In my opinion, I preferred keyboard and mouse. I've grew up with controllers. I started playing on Super Nintendo N64 1,000 years ago. And, until like 5-6 years ago, I was still like a controller player. So only like the last 5 years, 6 years, I've been a keyboard and mouse player. And in my opinion, for certain games, it definitely helps. And it is nice to have. Custom game improvements, again, I've always wanted having the ability to go to older versions of a map. Or, I know it's never going to happen, but like, let's say I want to play in version 3 of Dead by Daylight. I want to go all the way back in time to how those perks worked, and obviously that's not going to happen because the amount of coding that would be required to be able to play like every update would be insane. But it's nice to dream. Accessibility improvements. Now, I know there's a lot of things that could be made. I personally like make some improvements so people can play against Plague. Maybe instead of her looking all nasty and having vomit, maybe it's flowers. I don't know. Similar to how like games like Grounded did it. Like people that are afraid of spiders, there's an option to turn that off, and the spiders become something else. So that I don't know what else. So there's always somewhere they can make improvements for accessibility. Now I don't know what else they can do personally, because off the top of my head I am having the worst time trying to think of what they can do. But I know there's a lot of people in the community that have spoken up about what they would like to see, so I hope they take all that feedback and incorporate it. Prestige rewards, please, for the love of God. I know they talked about FOMO, but I mean, there shouldn't be FOMO from prestige rewards, because you're playing a character that you like. You know, when you reach P100, what do you get? Nothing. You don't get no extra blood points. You don't get no shards. You don't get XP. You get nothing. You just get P100. Have a good day. Personally, I think if you reach P100, you should have like a legacy outfit, but not like the original one that had in 2016 or 17, whenever that was. They should have a newer version of the outfit for their survivors that are not licensed and their killers, in my opinion. And having, I don't know, rewards every 5 to 10 levels would be nice. Just a little something like, hey, I just spent 10 million points going up 10 prestiges. Here's $1 million. Here's $1 million for doing all that. It'd be better than nothing. Reduced login steps. I have no idea what that's for. I don't know if they mean like connecting your accounts. I don't know if they mean like when you start the game and it goes through like 20,000 checks before you can even get to the menu. I don't know what that refers to, but we'll see. And more, including bug fixes for long-standing issues. There are issues that are plagued against certain killers. Sometimes a killer's ability just stops working, or for like that time that Twins was bugged for months, and they had an issue where she would walk slow, or after using the power of Victor, she would just. I had a match where I could always stare at the floor, and I was going like I couldn't even tell you how slow I was going. It was terrible. So every time a bug ruins your gameplay, whether it be a killer's power and you're trying to play that killer and have fun, and then you're just broken. You can't do anything. It really stinks. So here's the behavior for stepping up, doing the right thing, and working on game health. Hopefully everything goes as planned. I hope they rework maybe some of their coding and get it more in line so that bugs happen less often and they don't have to worry about this for a long time again. I know if content comes, obviously a bug here or there, but it shouldn't be the norm. We have PTBs for the reason of testing not only the new content, but catching those bugs and fixing them before they're released. So hopefully every PTB from here on out, they work on those bugs at the same time and not just say, okay, we fixed a couple of things, we'll just release it, and we'll fix the bugs later. And then it turns out 6 months later, the bug's still there. Hopefully not. You can always catch me on Dead by Daylight online, on the Purple site, and hopefully on this site too, soon. So I'll catch you later. As always, have fun in the fog, stay safe, take care of each other, and have a lovely time.